Brawlers, welcome to the Brawling Pit. We talk about all things casual and kitchen table magic like Brawl and EDH. You're listening to episode 37. I'm Johnathan Tang, and he is Jacob.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, matey!
Yeah, I was thinking about my introductory greeting, and I'm like, howdy, fellas. But I'm like, I don't know, man. That one kind of doesn't do it for me. And then I thought of the word ahoy. I'm like, I like that one better. It's sillier. So I'm going to go with that now. Ahoy.
Ahoy!
Yes, ahoy.
So, how are you doing other than the fact that you found a new greetings?
I'm all right, man. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm really enjoying the group hug deck that we built.
You get that built
a couple episodes ago. Yeah, it was a good build. I really like it. Like
Did you win?
enjoy. I won a couple, but I didn't win all of them. Because
did you effectively win? Like like you accomplished your goals.
Yes.
Okay.
But that was
100%
after
win rate.
no, not 100% win rate.
Ooh.
Like, so it was a new local game store that I walked into, and turns out the meta is like mega combo-y. So every single deck that you run into is a combo. So helping them cast spells turns out isn't that great. Right? Like,
yeah,
like it's fine if you're helping like the creature deck play some creatures, or if you're helping some other people do things.
Isn't that like the ideal deck that you want to help, like the creature based deck? You can just wipe their board.
Yeah, but like when you're helping a OTK combo deck, maybe we should play a different strategy. Maybe we should play a different deck. Even though like the group hack deck is really combo as well. Like that final combo is the cream of the crop. But for I don't think it's on the same level when you're going up against decks that are designed to kill you in one turn.
Yeah, I think OTK decks are probably the healthiest type of deck in any format, period. And there's absolutely no sarcasm in my voice at all. I don't mean that sarcastically. And now you can't tell. Now you just can't tell anymore, can you?
Wow.
You can't tell if I'm keeping this straight as part of the meta joke, or no, you can't tell anymore. So that'll be up in the air for as long as this goes up.
Yeah. So today, like this episode, we want to talk about a very interesting topic, and the topic is: are infinite combos kosher?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. So I think the answer is ask your playgroup. All right. So as always, thanks for listening. You can find us on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Oh my God, he did it again! He did it again! Look at him, he's doing the meme again.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the short answer is that, right? Ask your playgroup. Hey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's sign off now.
Let's come back a little bit. What is an infinite combo? What do you think?
I don't know. I thought we were done already. I'm already eating.
So an infinite combo is like a contraption where you assemble all the combo pieces like gears, and then once everything is done, it blows up. So there's some good examples. Yeah, it just blows up in your face, and you and everyone else just dies.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the most infamous of them all is the Hermit Druid deck, which is quite powerful. It can consistently win on turn 3, sometimes faster. When you have a deck that consistently win on or before turn 3,
if you ask a modern player what the most famous or infamous combo deck is, they're probably going to tell you like Absent and Company or something, or one of its variants.
Yeah, that's very combo-y. Yeah. And even that I mean, they do have dorks, but even that's like a turn 4 combo. Like,
I remember,
4 mana combo.
That's being optimal. Usually they don't combo off on turn 4. But it's sad because I remember the Absent Company deck before it cut Red Cap. Now just for reference, Murderous Red Cap is a 4 mana dude. I think it's a 2/2, but the stat line didn't really matter that much. It had Persist though, and Persist is a mechanic where if it were to die and it didn't have the -1/-1 counters on it already, then you can bring it back to the battlefield from the graveyard with a -1/-1 counter on it. And Murderous Red Cap had the enter the battlefield effect where you could ping anything for 1 damage. So basically, The Abs and Company deck just played Malira, which said you can't get counters on it. It played a stack outlet, and it played Murder's Redcap. And you just stack it, bring it back, stack it, bring it back, stack it, bring it back, because it never had the counter on it. And you just kill them with Murder's Redcap.
Yep.
And if they couldn't interrupt you, they were just dead. So with the newer builds of Abs and Company, before the deck like basically became defunct, because now when I look at the modern metagame, it's just so lightning blitz fast that that deck can't survive pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember they cut Redcap, but they kept the infinite life combo with the Kitchen Finks. And so I remember on multiple occasions looking at like GPs where like these people would get like a million life or something because they combo off with Kitchen Finks, and their opponent hadn't conceded yet. And it's like, this isn't EDH. You're not milling them out. Like, the game's over. It's like, move on with your life.
That's crazy. And we're talking about a very fast format, modern, right? And even that combo is like a turn 4 mana combo. And in a slow format like Commander, Hermit Druid goes off on turn 2 or 3. For those of you who doesn't know yet, Hermit Druid is 1 in a green for a 1/1 Druid that says you can pay green and tap to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card, put that card into your hand, and put all the other review cards into your graveyard. You have no basic land in this deck. No basic lands. So
I dig it.
Yeah, it's insane, right? So
that reminds me of Tri-Belcher. I don't want to go all the way into Tri-Belcher, but that kind of flavored text, or not flavor, that rule text reminds me of Tri-Belcher a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. So what they really do is they just use Hermit Druid to build their entire deck and bring things back into from their graveyard onto the battlefield, and then they kill you. You're just dead.
So like basically they just like pick up their whole deck and they just like turn it upside down. It's like, this is now my graveyard.
Yep, exactly. That's how it works. And right, like that's one of the examples, right? And another example is one of the more popular combo commander is Breya. Breya, Ethereum Shaper, is a greenless commander, so she costs white, blue, black, red. She's a legendary artifact creature that's a human and is a 4/4. When Breya enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying, and then you can pay 2 to sack 2 artifacts and do one of the following. Deal 3 damage to target player planeswalker. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Or you gain 5 life. And there are some really easy ways for Breya to go absolute infinite with this, because all you need is an Ashnod's Altar, and it's already an infinite combo. You have Breya out, you have Ashnod's Altar out, and then you pay 2 to make 2 Thopters. Second one of those Thopters will give you 2 mana, so you sack both of them to get 4 mana, spend 2 of them to make 2 Thopters, etc., etc. Now you have infinite colorless mana. If you also have the other altar that's being reprinted, Phyrexian Altar, now you have all the colors you want, and then you just do anything you want, right? Draw your entire deck, ping everyone, whatever, you name it. Like you can probably just end the game there, because like you can
even concede.
Well, you can even concede, but like you can literally just end the game with Breya on the battlefield and then an Ashnod Altar on the battlefield, because you can sack 2 artifacts to deal 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. So you resolve Ashnod, and then you make some Thopters, go infinite mana, make infinitely many Thopters, sack all of them, and then lightning bolt everyone to death. It's really easy. It comes off nowhere, and that's what I think most people are, not happy about, right? Like, when it comes to infinite combo, here's my theory, and I could be wrong. I think most people say they hate infinite combo. They don't actually hate infinite combo. I think they hate blowouts. They don't like to lose out of nowhere. They want to see it coming, right? They want to play against someone who's some honest decks who will swing at you with a 40/40. Like, that makes sense, right? That makes sense to them. The infinite combo, it comes off nowhere. You can't prepare for it, they think.
And I would actually I agree with you, and I'd actually even go more specific and say they want to just be able to like interact with it, or just like have a chance to like play, like have counterplay against it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's understandable. Like, if there was like a busted like 2-turn combo where you just like you couldn't interact, like with Hearthstone, you can't interact on your opponent's turn. So truly the non-interactive combo. But in Magic, we can play stuff on our opponent's turn, thankfully.
Yeah, you can.
So, it's like, but I understand the sentiment is still there. Like, if you just if you have absolutely no way of interacting with that combo deck, and like your counterplay is, well, I hope he just doesn't have it. Like that feels pretty bad.
Yeah, it feels extremely bad. Because let me give you an example. Like it's a 2-card combo. It's it costs 12 mana total for you to play it. So it's not easy. You can do it over 2 turns, but there's a card called Havoc Festival, which is an enchantment that costs 4 black and red. It says players can gain life, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses half his or her life rounded up. And there's a 5 and a black enchantment called Wound Reflection that says at the end of each turn, each opponent loses life equal to the life he or she lost this turn.
Isn't there a red commander that does something similar to the first card? Like it deals damage like half their life total or something to them?
I don't remember. That could be, but there are so many cards out there. But
Yeah.
I don't remember. But these 2 cards, it says if you don't remove any of these in your turn, you're dead. Right? Not very interactive. I think that's what people don't really like. And another example of non-interaction is basically any of the win cons you can find in our Chromium Commander deck, right? Like those, you win the game. Alternative win cons are really hard to interact with because a lot of times by the time we play the Approach of a Second Sun, we have enough time to cast the other one. Like,
Yeah, I think Approach of the Second Sun was a bad card.
Yeah,
Not
well,
gonna lie.
it's good in that deck, right? Like that's what we
No,
Johnnies
I don't
do.
mean like a bad card. I mean like design wise. Like it's like everything we were just talking about. Like if you have like enchantment with it, like you can just blow up the enchantment. That's your counterplay. But like with Approach of the Second Sun, it's like,
It has an
well,
on cast trigger, right? Both times.
yeah, it's a non-cast trigger.
Well,
It's not like
the second time you have to resolve it, but like the
the
first
second
time
you
is
have to
just on
resolve.
cast. Yeah,
But it's like that is an example of something that I think they should be avoiding.
yeah. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in that deck tech, you can find it on episode 21 where we talk about how to convert your Brawl deck into a Commander deck. But moving on. All right, so I don't know about like Jacob. Do
What?
you like playing against blowouts? The blowout combos. That I decided to call it that.
Ask someone else because I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I don't mind playing against them either. I mean, it's just part of the game, right? Like, and I play them sometimes. Like, obviously, my Chromium deck is a blowout deck, and like, how do you play them, right? When you want to play them, just make sure the people who are going to be spending the next 2 hours playing against your deck, make sure they're okay with it, right? Just talk to them.
Yep.
Tell them,
Now
hey,
I was fortunate to be in a very spiky play group.
yeah,
So like it was just like play whatever you want, like
yeah,
no restrictions.
yeah,
Everybody like understood. Like yep. Like um the issue, and you should do this, but like the issue that comes from adding restrictions. And I'm not saying you shouldn't add restrictions. I'm just saying this is one of the obstacles you'll have to overcome. Is that adding restrictions gets very arbitrary when you think about it. Like
yeah,
it might be easy to like start up and say, okay, no infinite combos. But then you have to get into the nitty gritty of it. Like, well, what is an infinite combo?
right,
What cards
exactly.
count as an infinite
Like,
combo?
is it okay if I don't go infinite? I just go 30 million. Is that fine? Like,
Yeah,
what does that
or like
mean?
maybe even like 10 or 20 times.
Yeah,
Like, so it's like eventually you will have to get arbitrary and just say, okay, we don't like this card, so we're banning it, like or whatever. So, um, we decided because as a play group of spikes, we're just like, nah, like no restrictions, just do whatever you want.
yeah, just do
And
whatever.
and like I said, thankfully it was a really hyper competitive people, like myself. So if we lost, it wasn't like we didn't feel like it was like, oh, like, oh, it was not my fault or whatever. Like where everybody's playing a spike deck, probably something you could have done to get around it.
Yeah,
But speaking of something that you could have done, like I said, we usually felt like there's something we could have done differently, or maybe like deck selection is part of playing around it. By the way, I know that might be hard news for some people, but the deck you pick to play is a choice. The hand you keep in your opening is a choice. So like if you are feeling you're going to lose the game to a certain deck or a certain playstyle or strategy, then you need to pick the deck or mulligan accordingly to it. Now I realize that the deck selection isn't applicable. But if you're like in a play group that you play with consistently, you probably have an idea of what your opponents are playing.
Yep. Yep.
Now that said, if you are just feeling like you want to relive your angsty teenage years and like I hate everyone, nobody gets to have fun but me, and I'm a sadistic person that derives joy out of seeing other people suffer, then we have the perfect deck for you.
Well, I wouldn't say it's hating on everyone. You're just hating on a combo person, right? Because this deck, the intent is really to tell that combo person, if you come at me, I'm gonna pull this deck out. That's why this deck is there. It's a nuke, right?
Yeah, but even not even against combo decks, this deck will hurt just everybody.
Yeah, this deck can probably hurt everyone, but
Exactly.
it really is designed to be a nuke that says,
Yeah, this is
tell the
like
combo player, if you pull your combo deck out on me,
I'm pulling this
this
deck
is
out.
coming
I'm
at you.
whipping this one out.
Right.
Yeah,
So
this is the old classic, like, you whip yours out, I'm gonna whip mine out, slam it on the table, and say mine's bigger and better. That's what it
right.
is.
So the deck tech that we're going to dive into today, the commander, first and foremost, she's Anafenza the foremost. She's
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. That was a good one.
she is white, black, and green for 4/4 human soldier legendary creature. When she attacks, put +1/+1 counter on another target tapped creature you control. Might or might not be relevant. This next one is more relevant. If a creature card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So a lot of cards in this deck has themes like this that changes the rules of the game completely. And that's what we're going for. We're going for anti-combo. And that is a very rare archetype that you don't really see that often in Commander, right? People are in Commander to have fun. They're trying to do the things they want to do. But anti-combo is like the absolute opposite of what the what the game is trying to do, to allow you to have fun or to allow other people to have fun.
A couple weeks ago, we were the happy guy that was like, everybody gets to play everything. But
Yeah.
now we're the angry old man that's like, no one gets to play anything.
Well, here's the thing. Like, a couple weeks ago, you described that deck as the Gandhi deck, where everything is peaceful and everyone gets to have fun and be happy. But in the
But you
game,
also have a
in the
nuke in your
game
back
called,
pocket.
pardon me?
But you also get to have a nuke in your back pocket.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. In a game called Sid Meier's Civilization, the series, Gandhi, actually, when it gets to the modern era, I think, no, the atomic era, he would
It was like
nuke
a bug
everyone.
or something, right?
Yeah, it is a bug and then turn into a feature where he would just start nuking everyone. And this is the theme. You can play your group hug deck first and then get combo pull on you, and then you move into the atomic era next turn. So this is the nuke where you can nuke everyone.
You truly become Gandhi. Playing the group hug deck was your first step to Gandhiism, and now once you have both these decks, you are Gandhi. Like you are Gandhi's disciple. Everything that he wanted his disciples to be.
Exactly. So this whole deck is designed to host other strategies, and there are some win conditions but those are not what we're going to focus on. Well, what we're going to focus on really is like, this deck is not designed to win. Really, you're not trying to win with this deck. You're just...
No. Like I said, this was the angsty teenager deck. You're just trying to cause as much pain and disruption as possible.
Yeah. You, like, that person who is playing combo, you're making sure that guy is not winning. Like, you don't care about winning when you're playing this deck. Like, so even though there are some win conditions in the deck, they are not the theme, and they're in there. And if you want to actually see the whole deck list, you can find it on Bitly at BP_anti-combo. Anti-combo is one word. So the commander herself is already a graveyard hate. The Melira combo that we talked about in the company deck, well, that's impossible now, because what persist really says is, when it goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, not dying. So if instead they're exiled, it never goes into the graveyard, so it never persists. We will talk about the hate package that comes later. Let's talk about the general theme, like the general thing that you want to do, like that hosts everyone. There are a lot of things that can slow your opponents down, and one of them is to make sure that they don't have the resources to play what they need in order to get to the combo. So here's the first card. Well, more like the second, but here's the first card that excluding the commander that we'll talk about in this deck. And I can already see the subscriber number flying away, but here we go. Armageddon is 3 in a white for a sorcery that says destroy all lands.
I love this card. This is my favorite card.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said,
I might be a little masochistic though, but
like I said, this is the nuke deck. This is when Gandhi. This is the Atomic Era Gandhi deck, and
mutually assured destruction, right?
yeah, you have to have Armageddon here. It slows everyone down, and I mean, including yourself. Some people will still have mana rocks, so that's fine, and you have mana rocks as well. But Armageddon is here to slow people down. There's a very similar card that you can choose not to run because it's actually very expensive. But Ravages of War is 3 in a white for a sorcery that says destroy all lands. Well, say
Same thing.
yeah, says the
Literally
same thing. Why is it expensive? Because it's printed in Portal 3 Kingdoms. So
And nobody opened that
yeah,
set.
well the Chinese or the yeah, because the English version of the set. The English version of the set was only printed in Australia and some of the Oceania countries, which is why. But
So, like, we will never understand why those events happen, but that's just how they went down, man.
nope, exactly. There's a third mass land destruction spell in this deck, and that's Fall.
And
of
it is
Thran.
also a little expensive too, but not in the same regard.
Yeah, not in the same regard. Fall of the Thran is 5 in a white for an enchantment saga, with first chapter saying destroy all lands. Second, third chapters will say each player returns 2 land cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. Now, this one's a little bit weaker. Number one is because it's more expensive. Number
Literally.
two, it helps it actually brings them back. So it doesn't stop all combos. If you're playing against that guy that has Urborg and Cabal Coffers, yeah, slow them down. It slowed them down a little bit, but they brought back the Urborg and the Cabal
You can bring
Coffers.
back. You can bring back
Strip mine.
all your Tron lands and
Yeah. Absolutely.
and you know the Eye or whatever, Eye of Ugin.
Yeah, if you're playing the Eldrazi deck, they can bring all that back, and you slow everyone down, but him or her. So play this at your own risk. You can be careful with it too, right? Like if it doesn't make sense to play it, you don't have to play it. Like you don't have to. Oh, I have 6 mana, and that's the only thing I can play. I'm gonna play it now. No, you don't have to. Just do nothing. Sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something.
I still dig it though.
Yeah,
It's like that's the beauty of board wipes.
yeah,
You don't have to play them.
exactly. It's a good package. A good mass land destruction package that I usually don't run in any decks. I don't like playing with them. I don't mind playing against them, but it just fits the theme so much.
I love playing against these cards, but I also don't like playing these cards in particular. Mostly because every time you play them, everybody hates you. Even if you're in the spike group, everybody still hates you.
But when you have to express your hate, sometimes you have to draw them before
Yeah.
you
This was the Angsty Teenager deck. You know, maybe you should change that bit.ly URL to be like BP_Angsty Teenager.
All right, so the next 2 cards are absolutely just there to slow people down. So Rule of Law is 2 and a white for an enchantment that says each player can't play more than 1 spell each turn. So that hosts the Storm strategy. Like the Storm player now just can't play anything. And usually on the table there's only 1 combo deck. So this is crazy, right? This is so unconventional because we're already playing mass land destruction as well. Now we're also playing curses, like the worst thing to play in Commander. But Curse of Exhaustion is 2 white for an enchantment or a curse. It enchants player. Enchanted player can cast more than 1 spell each turn.
Yeah, so I love curses because now this might come as a surprise to you, but it also probably shouldn't. I love bad puns and bad jokes, right? So, you know, when you play this, you can say curse you. Like, curse you, and then actually play it. Yeah. Yeah. Or like when you play Avid of the Worm. It's like, you got a bad case of the worms, and you have Avid of the Worm. Yeah, it's like the best thing in the world. Come on. Come on. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Don't deny.
So, a lot of times when an infinite combo happens, one of the combo piece will be the commander. Like the Brea combo that we talked about. Literally, all they need is to draw one card from their deck and they win the game. And it's really not very interactive. So we also have a card called that you normally wouldn't play in a commander deck, but for a theme it works. I'm gonna stop saying that, but I probably will say it again. Nevermore is one white for an enchantment that says as Nevermore enter the battlefield, not when. Name a non-land card. The name card can be cast. So when you're playing against the Brea Infinite Combo deck, you name Brea Ethereum Shaper. So they can't cast her. It's that simple.
This
And-
card is like it's just a big middle finger. That's what it is.
Yep. Like you normally wouldn't play this card, like I said. You're trying like people are trying to have fun and you're there to socialize and all that. But if there's someone who is out there that already gave you a middle finger, flip them off. Who cares? The next area of the stack is trying to stay safe. The stay safe package. And there are plenty of cards that we talked about plenty, but we're gonna talk about them again. Angel's Grace is white for an instant or split second that says you can't lose the game this turn and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damages that will reduce your life total to less than 1, reduce it to 1 instead. So, like, you know how the winning out of nowhere thing that all the combo decks have in common? Angel's Grace stops that. It can't even be countered because of a split second. So when you see something odd coming your way, like when someone's trying to go off, just cast Angel's Grace and you will live for another turn to kill them.
Yeah, and this basically has to resolve. There's only 3 ways to counter this.
Absolutely, and you can figure. Oh no, there are 4 ways.
Oh
but
no,
if you can,
this is back to the other thing. No, I didn't mean to. Oh, I didn't mean to. No. Actually, wait, we should do it again. Yeah, let's do it again. Actually.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So
Right.
I know we have given. I don't remember which episode. You can go back and look at it. But in one of the episodes, in the sign off, we talk about all 4 ways to do it. And but if you can figure it out again, let us know on social media. The first 2 of you who does that will get a signed copy of Angel's Grace by Jacob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you're trying to win the signed copy of Angel's Grace, go to the website brawlingpit.com and you'll be able to find the details. So
Bit.ly/
No, we're not.
_, whatever, anti combo. I think we were doing.
Yeah, anti combo.
Go there. That's where the details will be.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have Fairy's Protection, which is 2 and a white for an instant that says until your next turn, your life total can change, and you have protection for everything. All permanents you control faces out. So this not only protects you, it also protects everything. Oh, by the way, like the thing that people usually ignore, like I didn't see it. Like I know it's in the card, but I usually don't see it, even though I know it's there. Because it's after a huge block of flavor text. You also have to exile this card after you're done with it.
Yeah, the exile part is important.
Yep.
Don't forget that.
Yep.
You could play Teferi's Protection, but float all of your mana and then just play Armageddon.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you can.
You
That
should
is
do
a
it.
thing.
Do it. Then everybody will really hate you.
Ouch. Yep. that is a thing. So what that does is you're playing a combo in an anti-combo deck. Very protection Armageddon combo.
Yeah, you've become exactly what you sought out to hate
disgusting.
out. You've become exactly what you sought out to hate out.
Oh, Jesus. All right. We also have Dawn Charm.
No, hold on. Before you do that, no, it's like you remember the what is it? The phrase where it's like, do you die soon enough to die a hero, or live long enough to see yourself the villain?
I think if you actually do that, let us know in the comment section. or of any of our social media outlet. We'll love to hear.
Yeah.
We'll love to hear about it. Let us know if you do that. Teferi's Protection Armageddon. So next up, we have Dawn Charm, 1 and a white for an instant that says choose one, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn, regenerate target creature, or counter target spell that targets you. So this is another one of those things where, for example, in the infinite mana deck, like a lot of times, one of the win conditions is Fireball. So when they're trying to cast Fireball, they would not expect a counter spell coming from an Absand deck. This can counter the Fireball because it
It
has
can't
to
counter
target you.
Banefire though. Just remember that.
It can't count. Nothing can counter Banefire, but Banefire only targets one person, right? Fireball kills everyone at the same time, which is why it's
True.
being run. Yeah, Dawn Charm is good, and if you have listened to last episode, you know it's one of my pet cards. So, go back to the episode if you want to know more about this card. Next card is Sudden Spoiling. This is one of the first card. This is actually the very first card that's not white. I'm looking back up. Like every card we talked about so far is white. So this is 1 black for an instant with split second again. Until end of turn, creatures target player controls lose all abilities and have power and toughness 0-2.
I'm a really big fan of this, like, transform your creatures to lose all abilities mechanic. I don't think they do it often enough.
Yeah, and this card is important because there, a lot of times, for example, in the tap and tap deck, it relies on the activate abilities on those creatures or the trigger abilities on some creatures. This stops their plan immediately. And like even if their things have like indestructible or such, like you can just do this and then you destroy them or exile them.
And I'm also in a love-hate relationship with Split Second. You know, on one hand, some of the cards need it because otherwise they'd just be like kind of unplayable.
Yep.
But on the other hand, Split Second is literally the definition of what we were talking about. Of you can't interact with this card.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're trying to interact with already something that's uninteractable, just do it anyways. I mean, they put
You
it
have
out.
you have to become the monster to deal with the monster.
Yeah, fight fire with fire. And yeah, like I said, this deck is not the normal deck that you pick up, like that you pull out willy nilly. You don't play this on the first game. You play this after you lost completely and you're mad at someone.
Oh my goodness. We should be promoting positive vibes.
If
And
you want
instead we're-
positive vibes, you can go back to episode
No!
35.
No, this is like a challenge to me. I want to play this. I want to play this deck the first time, and I want to see if I can win with it.
Wow. Well, all right. So next up is Leyline of Sanctity. Modern players will be fairly familiar with this card. 2 white for an enchantment that says if Leyline of Sanctity is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You have hexproof. It's a lot better if you get it in your first hand.
Even if you don't, it's okay.
Even if you don't, it's okay. But I recommend drawing this in your opening hand.
Yeah. Just just like cheaty faces in your opening hand.
Yeah,
Like,
highly
no big
recommend
deal.
it. And there's another combo in the Stay Safe package, and it revolve is a 2-card combo. There are 3 cards that contributes to it, but it's essentially a 2-card combo. The first combo piece is Phyrexian Unlife, which is 2 and a white for an enchantment that says you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. As long as you have 0 or less life, all damage is dealt to you as though a source had infect. So you take poison counter and stuff, taking damage when you have below 0 life.
Yeah, and then actually there's a card related to this that kind of shuts off the downside of Phyrexian Unlife is Solemnity. The 2 and a white enchantment. Players can't get counters, and creatures can't be put, and counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. Now, this card, along with Malira, which is another somewhat modern staple that's anti-infect. Malira is a 2-mana 2/2 that says you can't get poison counters. Creatures you control can't have -1/-1 counters placed on them, and creatures your opponents control lose infect. Now, I mentioned this card earlier, Malira, when I was talking about Ads and Company. But one thing to clear up with these 2 cards is that if you already have poison counters or infect counters, you don't lose them. They're still there. They're still there. You just don't get any more of them.
Yeah, and that is the stay safe combo. You can't lose the game if you have this combo out.
But speaking of can't lose the game. By the way, you lost the game. I have a friend of mine that carried around a platinum angel in his wallet, so that way he could literally never lose the game.
Wow.
You know what game I'm talking about. Everybody, you all know
Nope,
what game I'm talking about.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
By the way, you lost the game.
What game?
You know the game.
What game?
He's trying to play dumb, everyone. He knows exactly what game.
So, yeah. So, if you want to play Platinum Angel in this deck, you can. And there's also another card that is Gideon of the Trials, and the ultimate will make you not lose the game if you have Gideon out. I think that's a little bit too weak, so I don't have it in the final iteration of the deck. But at
But
one
if you really
point,
want to
it was
go
there.
like teleporty, then go for it.
Yeah,
Put 'em
go
in.
for it if you want to do that. Yeah. And before we move on, I want to also point out that Solemnity also shuts down the Divine Intervention combo deck. It's not really a combo, but Divine Intervention is 6 white for an enchantment that enters the battlefield with 2 intervention counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an intervention counter from Divine Intervention. And when you remove the last intervention counter from Divine Intervention, the game is a draw. So that player's goal is to make sure that no one wins the game. And if you have Solemnity on the battlefield already before DI hits the battlefield, Divine Intervention basically does nothing because it will come into the battlefield with no counters on it, and it's an 8 mana do nothing enchantment.
I'm gonna throw a level 2 judge question at you. You ready? Okay. You have Malira on the battlefield.
Yep.
All right. And then you activate Ink Moth Nexus. What happens? Or sorry, your opponent activates Ink Moth Nexus.
In response?
No. Like they pass a turn, activate Ink Moth Nexus.
Oh, it's just a 1/1 bird.
Are you sure? Because if you read Malira, it says creatures your opponent's control lose infect. But Ink Moth Nexus gains infect.
Oh.
Now, it'd be easy if it was already activated. Then you just say, "Oh, then it's just a 1/1 bird."
It will still have infects, but it will do no damage.
Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Yes, you can't get points encounters.
You'll have to find out next week
Oh
what
my
the answer
gosh.
is.
Yeah, you gain no points encounters. Anyways,
That's Jonathan's answer.
that's my answer.
And I'm not gonna spoil the answer, but you will find out next week. Stay tuned.
All right. Anyways, next up we have like you probably noticed by now that a lot of these pieces are enchantments, and we have another combo that protects your enchantments. Sterling Growth is green-white for an enchantment that says all other enchantments you control can't be the target of spells or abilities, so it gives them Shroud. You can also pay 1 to sack it to search for an enchantment from your library and put it at the top of the library after you shuffle it.
I really like this card.
Yeah, it's a good card. And there's also Greater Oromancy, which is 1 and a white for an enchantment that says other enchantments you control have Shroud. Enchanted creatures you control have Shroud.
Don't play this in Boggles.
Don't play this in Boggles, but if you have both of these out, they both have Shroud as well. And no one can target your enchantments. And we also have Enlightened Tutor to allow you to search for the other one when you have one already. And yeah, it's fairly simple.
I remember a friend of mine, he was getting into Modern, and he's like, I'm going to play Greater Oromancy in Boggles. And I'm like, don't do it. And he's like, no, it's great, because all my guys are going to be enchanted. I'm like, don't do it. He signed up for Modern F&M. He's like, I realized why you told me not to do this. One game is all it took.
Yep.
By the way, if you're still wondering why you shouldn't do this, because once you enchant it and it has Shroud says it's not hexproof. You yourself can't target it either. So you get one enchantment and that's it.
Yep. So sad.
Yeah. Now, just because enchantments can't be targeted, say they have hexproof or Shroud, you're not out of the game yet. You have some options if your opponents decide to employ similar strategies.
Right. So you have a board wipe that hits all types, while you can choose which type to hit. But Merciless Eviction is 4 white black for sorcery that says choose one, exile all artifacts, exile to all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers. So even if you're playing against the planeswalker Teferi combo deck, you can just exile them. Like, don't worry about the super friends; they're not there anymore. But it also hosts all it just is very versatile. You can choose the perfect answer at the time and just cast this thing.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like unlike planar cleansing, where you have to blow up everything, Merciless Eviction, it's like it might seem like I'm paying one extra and I have to choose a type, but that's a double edged sword though, where it's like, well, you're paying one extra so you can choose a type, even though I
Yeah,
just said the same words, it different meanings based on um like what you're trying to accomplish. Like let's say you have a board but your opponent has a board of like planeswalkers, and you don't want to hit your creatures, but you want to hit their planeswalkers. There you go, Merciless Eviction, right there.
yep, exactly. It's absolutely amazing. That 1 mana and the versatility you get can save you some games.
I like the fact that Merciless Eviction, to me, first of all, I don't comment on art by the way, but I really like Merciless Eviction's art. It reminds me of like a mini Damnation, because like Damnation also has like a black hole sucking everything
Yeah,
up.
it does.
Yep, yep.
All right. So next up, we have the Disruption package. Now, like this whole package is designed to counter a specific strategy, and we have 2 cards that basically it can become those cards. Well, we have more of these cards, but we're gonna talk about two of the cards that we have, and there are more of them in the deck, but these 2 are the most iconic, and they can become any of the answer cards you need at a time. Demonic Tutors, 1 in a black for a sorcery that says search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, and shuffle your library. And Vampiric Tutor is a black for an instant that says search your library for a card, then shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. So these 2 cards basically tutors for anything that you can find in your deck to shut down the strategy that you don't want to see happen right now. And believe it or not, tutors are very strong. Usually, I'm not like a big proponent of playing tutors in Commander, but like I said, we are already playing Mass Land Destruction, so anything goes from now on, right?
Absolutely, anything goes.
Yep. I- Including this one card. This card hits a specific card type, like that you choose. So Archon of Valor's Reach is 4 green white for a 5/6 Archon. Flying Vigilance Trample. As it enters the battlefield, you choose artifact, enchantment, instant, sorcery, or planeswalker, and then players can't play spells of the chosen type.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
like
really like it.
your opponent is playing Storm. Well, just choose instant. If you
You know, just to clarify, you can't choose creatures. Just
nope,
putting that out there. But I mean, you can answer creatures with a board wipe. So
yep. So yeah, like you can answer Storm with this card. You can answer Super Friends with this card. You can answer the Artifact Infinite combo of this card is quite good. Now, one of the common feature of a combo deck is they have a lot of card draws to help them get the combo pieces they need. And these are some of the cards that we have in the deck to stop that plan. Omen Machine, that a card that you again don't usually see in this format, is 6 mana for an artifact that says players can't draw cards. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player exiles the top card of his or her library. If it's a land card, the player puts it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, that player casts it without paying its mana cost if able. So, yes, you're helping people cheat things out. But you're only helping people cheat one thing out, and they cannot find more pieces. It's actually
It's
quite
also
good.
kind of random because it's like it might not even be the thing they're looking for.
Yeah, it could be, but when it comes to combo, usually there are multiple pieces. Getting one of them means you can just respond to it because it only helps them get one thing, right? And the only thing that you have to keep in mind that this doesn't stop necropotence. Because necropotence will.
Here's another judge question for you. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. You have Omen Machine out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cast a demonic tutor. What happened?
You're casting demonic tutor with Woman Machine?
Yep.
Uh
Now he doesn't know, guys.
hold on, what?
He doesn't know.
What are you talking about?
Because oftentimes in judge rulings, these kind of cards with demonic tutor, even though it doesn't say the word draw, a lot of times judges will phrase it as, well, the card was drawn.
Really?
Yes, really.
That's quite strong.
That's why I asked you. Is it really that simple? Is it really that simple where because demonic tutor doesn't say draw, it's not drawn? Or is it considered drawn? You'll never know.
You'll never know.
You'll never know. Not until next week, at least.
Not until next week. All right. The
You
next
gotta tease him a little
the
bit.
next card is Chains of. I can't read this card.
I can't read it either. Hold on. Let me do a practice read there. Mephistopheles. What? Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles? What? Who wrote this card?
I don't know.
They need to have a pronunciation in the gather ruling section. But
Yeah,
there's not.
okay, so neither me nor Jacob knows how to read this card.
Chains of Mephistopheles. I think I got it. Chains of Mephistopheles is a 1 in a black enchantment. I'm not going to bother reading what the actual text says on the card. I'm just going to read the gather text, okay? Because the gather text is what you go by the way, just in case you're wondering. Normally the card, like 99% of the time, like what's written on the card is right, but sometimes things get errated. They can't just like send on a patch like they can like an online game, So I'm gonna read the gathering text here because the old text is really archaic. If a player would draw a card, except for the first one, they draw in the draw step each turn. That player discards the card instead. So far, pretty simple. You only get the first draw, and if you would draw more cards, you discard that many instead. If the player discards a card this way, then they draw a card. If the player doesn't discard a card this way, they put the top card of their library into their graveyard. And
Right.
just for clarification, the drawn card you get to keep, like from the chains. By the way,
Right.
You'll just like loop over and over. That'd be dumb.
Right.
Okay. Last judge question. What happens if you have 2 of these out? I just Johnathan.exe has stopped working.
Come back next week. I will tell you. So, the reason why this card's in the deck is because when combo players are gathering cards and trying to assemble the pieces in their hand, well, they need their hand. They don't get a hand when this card is out. This will disrupt them enough so that they don't get to keep some of the pieces in their hand. And it's quite powerful. Next up, we have Anti-Graveyard. Anafenza herself is already an anti-graveyard machine. We also have other cards that helps with the plan in case Anafenza is not on the battlefield, or there's some things that are stopping Anafenza. So Rest in Peace is 1 and a white for an enchantment that says when it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it's even stronger than Anafenza because it doesn't hit only creatures. It hits everything. So the graveyard strategy, the dredge deck, is now dreaded.
So, do I want to do another judge question? No, we'll save the judge question for later. No, actually, no. This is okay. This is an easy judge question. If you play this game on a regular basis, then you'll know the answers. So, let's say I have a death trigger, specifically death, right? What happens if I have a rest in peace out?
Come back next week and find out.
Oh, come on. This is an easy. We're not going to make them wait till next week. This is an easy one. If you have rest in peace out, it stops death triggers, by the way. Because dying
Yeah,
is
they
a keyword.
don't. They don't die. They get exiled.
Yeah. And dying is a keyword that says move from battlefield to graveyard. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, I'm serious. So if you have rest in peace out and you have a creature or your opponent has a creature that says when this creature dies or whatever, that doesn't trigger because rest in peace stops them from going to the graveyard.
Yep. So next up, we also have Leyline of the Void. 2 black for an enchantment that says, if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. The Johnathan deck is now dead. Doesn't do anything. This card, also quite good. I recommend drawing it in your opening hand like the other Leyline. I really do. But it's your choice. And
I think it's worth it.
yeah.
Like even if you don't have it in the opener, like it's the same thing with the other ley line. It's fine. It's 4 mana. It's a reasonable cost.
So next up we have the one card to counter all the tokens, which is Elvish Norn Grand Cenobite. 5 white for a 4/7 creator with vigilance, and other creatures you control gets +2/+2. But creatures your opponents control gets -2/-2. So if you're going down against that infinite creature, infinite token deck, now they don't get no tokens because most tokens are X2s. Yeah, they don't get to resolve their camaraderie anymore.
I really love this card, by the way. But I'm biased.
Also, yeah, that's also a card that you shouldn't be enthusiastically playing in a commander deck, but it's in here.
You know, the other thing is I have to comment on the art. Another card I have to comment on the art about.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I think it's amazing. I think it's more amazing on the Judge promo, when the card text is written in Phyrexian text.
Wait, hold on. I've not seen the Judge promo version.
Really?
Yeah, send me a link. I have to see this now. Yeah, I've never seen the Judge promo version. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Yep. Now I've seen the Judge promo version. This is beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, one thing I have to say though, when I first saw this card, I didn't really look at the art very much. Obviously I saw the art. I'm like, okay, cool. I thought it was a lady holding like a really big scythe. I mean, that's a reasonable thing, right? But then as you look at it more, it's like, oh, she is the scythe.
Yeah, that's her head. She's like a squid.
Oh my god.
So yeah, quite powerful.
That reminds me. This card was in Modern Masters 2015, and I played this like really greedy 4-color sealed deck for Grand Prix Vegas, which I did very well in. I played like a bunch of ramp cards, and I got to cash Elvish Norn 3 times on day 1.
Nice.
Yep, it won me all those games that I played her, by the way, as it should have in a limited format, as it should win in a limited format.
Wow.
Felt good, man. Felt good.
All right. So next up, we have the card that counters Palinchron. Palinchron is the infinite combo piece. But Extractor Demon is 4 black for a 5/5 demon that says whenever another creature leaves the battlefield, you may have target player put the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. It also has Unearth, so it's 2 and a black. So not only does it counter Palinchron, actually, it also hits the Persist and the Undying deck. The combos that goes off by looping things into your graveyard and bringing them back out. This card is very effective.
So this next section is anti-artifact. Yeah, we're making the round. We're hitting everybody. Nobody is excluded in this deck. This is the most hateful, inclusive deck possible. That is kind of an oxymoron, but that's what I was getting at. Okay, we have Kataki War's Wage. 1 and a white for a 2/1 legendary spirit creature. Doesn't have flying. Just thought I'd point that out, but I think it should. All artifacts have, quote, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 1. So basically, everybody has to pay 1 generic for all their artifacts they have, unless they sacrifice it on their upkeep.
Yeah, this is one of those cards that you are happy that your opponents get the effects first.
And you also want to play this earlier on in the game, while mana is more bottleneck.
Yeah. It's a good card. The next card is also a good card. This one counters activated abilities. 2 white for a 3/4 legendary angel creature called Vala, Keeper of Silence. She has flying, and activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated.
In a similar vein of Kataki War's Wage, we're also playing Stony Silence. This one is a staple. Everybody should know it by now, but just in case you don't, it's a 1 and a white enchantment. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. That's so great.
Yeah.
Because there are some really busted artifacts out there.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a commander staple, it's more of a modern staple, but in this deck, it makes sense.
Sorry. It's not, you're right. It's not a commander staple, but it is a modern staple. I don't know if it's a legacy staple. I want to say it is, though. Yeah, but definitely a modern staple.
Yep.
Definitely a modern staple.
All right. So next up, we have Lunvala, Keeper of Silence, to counter the activated abilities. 2 white for a 3/4 angel with flying that says activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. This
In limited, I would just play this even if that extra text didn't exist. A 4-mana 3/4 flyer.
Yeah. But this includes mana dorks. So your mana dorks now can play. Now they're just 1/1s.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep.
All right.
And you know, your mana dorks still work fine. Just your opponents don't.
Yeah, exactly. It only hits your opponents. This next card also hits just your opponents and not you. And it counters.
I love those kind of cards.
It counters monocolor cards. Iona, Shield of Emeria, is 6 white for a 7/7 angel with flying. As she enters the battlefield, you choose a color, and your opponents can cast spells of the chosen color. So
that's really mean.
Name blue when you're playing against the Tauran Infinite deck, the Infinite Drake deck. No, you don't get no Drake anymore. Go back to Spotify.
This didn't happen to me personally, but I remember one of my dudes was playing Iona.
Yeah.
And all of her opponent's decks were base black. Like all their removal was in black. And then there were some red spells, but they couldn't burn for 7. So he just said black. And Iona stayed on the battlefield for the rest of the game.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm so glad I'm not at that table.
Wow.
But it happened to some friends of mine. They were playing and I walked in and I'm like, ooh, what a board state.
Wow.
What a board state.
All right. This next card hosts the multicolor combos. So Hall of Gemstone is 1 green for an enchantment. The old text says enchant world, but that's not a thing anymore. It's just an enchantment now. During each player's upkeep, that player chooses a color. Until end of turn, each mana-producing land produces mana of the chosen color instead of its normal color. What this is saying is that if you cast a red spell, for example, you can't cast a blue spell. So you can resolve your grape shot after you drew 1 million cards. Pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah. And
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it, dude.
Yep. So one of the last cards we have is anti-tutor card, Aven Mind Sensor. Make sure you play your tutor effects before this resolves. But it's 2 and a white for 2/1 with flash flying. As a bird wizard, by the way. How cool is it? If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. So yeah, they don't get to look for the combo piece. They don't get to do anything. It's pretty good.
I like it.
Yep. But make sure you don't play it before you play this last card that we're going to talk about.
And by the way, that one also hits fetch lands, so be careful.
Oh yeah, it has fetch lands. You want to do the honors of the last card, Jacob?
Is this because of the title? Is this because of the name of the card?
I just don't want to be hated out by everyone. I want you to
Alright,
share the
fine.
burden.
All right. Fine, I get it. All right, here we have Sadistic Sacrament, a black sorcery, 3 CMC. Has kicker 7. That's the kicker, 7.
That's
So
the
you
kicker.
can pay 10 mana total for both the card and the kicker. Search target player's library for up to 3 cards. Exile them, and then that player shuffles the library. Simple. If you don't want to pay the kicker, that's what you get. Just a 3 mana, like, take the best 3 cards away from them. However, here's the kicker. If you pay 7 mana extra for the kicker, instead, you get to search for up to 15 cards. Exile them. And then they shuffle the library, of course.
Yeah, this card says you don't get to play no magic anymore.
Yeah, this one. Now, a good player, or like a well-constructed deck, which aren't my decks, by the way, because I like to play Johnny decks that like need 1 card or something like dumb like that. A well-constructed deck should not just auto lose to this card.
No.
But a well-constructed deck should lose every time to the kick version of this card.
Oh yeah. Because you are basically looking for all their combo pieces and they're gone. They don't get them anymore.
Technically, they could win. I'm not saying they can't, but it's a lot like Infect, and their opponent resolving like Malir or something. Like, okay, you could technically win. You could technically beat them down for 20. Does it happen very often? Not really.
No.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But this card is so good that we have cards to bring it back just for this card. So do not cast Eternal Witness on the other junk that we talked about. You resolve Sadistic Sacrament on that player for exiling 15 cards. And then you bring it back with Eternal Witness, and then you target the same person again. Or someone different. I don't know. It's your choice. It's your life. I can't tell you how to live it. Not cops.
I'm actually a cop.
I believe you. But yeah.
Good. No, I'm serious. I applied.
But yeah, that's our deck. And
They said I was too fat.
but yeah, that's our deck. And
oh man, he doesn't. No. totally swerving me.
But yeah, that's our deck, and I hope you guys are don't ever need to play this deck. But if you do need to play this deck, I hope you utterly destroy the person that causes you to play it.
I'm gonna play this deck this weekend.
As always, let us know what you think about the deck. If you think there are cards that should be added, should be removed, any criticisms, any suggestions, let us know. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on Brawling Pit. You can find us on Reddit on r/Brawling Pit. You can email us at brawlingpitmtg@gmail.com, or you can always visit our official website at brawlingpit.com.
Don't forget, you can also find this episode details at bit.ly/BP_anti-combo, or if you're feeling spicy, bit.ly/BP_angsty teenager. Both will work.
Those will both work. So, as always...
Actually, the second one might do something spicy, but...
It might do something spicy. Don't do that at work. So, as always, I've been Johnathan, and he has been Jake. See you guys later. So, Jacob.
What's up, dude?
I can't believe I have successfully put the embodiment of Gandhi into 2 episodes.
You did. And as a whole, they become one big Gandhi.
Yeah, they become one big Gandhi. I haven't been playing Gandhi much in Civ 6. He doesn't seem like a strong Civ. The game that I'm playing right now is on Deity with what's his name? The German guy, the Germany Bismarck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it because there are two continents. And early game, I took down the entire first continent, and late game, when the ship starts exploring my way, they found me, and I'm like so ahead of them. It's crazy on Deity that I can be ahead of the AIs, but they have to declare joint war on me, and they can't do anything. It's
You know,
amazing.
I love the game. Samsung, I love the game. And by the way, if you like board games or just like obviously besides Magic, if you enjoy like board games, then Civ 6 is like a board game but electronically. And the best part about electronically is that there's no cleanup, there's no setup, or you know all that complicated like physical mess. You know, your computer does all that for you. And I love Civ 6. I really do. It's a great game. But the one thing that we need to educate the listeners on really quick so they understand the feat of your the greatness of your accomplishment that you just said is that um artificial intelligence is really hard to write and it's really hard to design. It is. It is. It really is. And you know this.
Yeah,
Um and so like they can only make the AI like quote unquote so smart, you know? It's hard to make smart AI that makes good decisions. Um and so in this game, when you ramp up difficulty against like AI opponents, they don't actually get any smarter. They don't like make better choices. They just get artificially better stats. So they like make things faster than you. Their units are stronger. And that's supposed to like be in place of actually like better optimal decision making. And honestly, I don't see another way they could have done it. Like besides doing that, they're not just gonna like you can't just say, "Well, make your AI smarter." That's really hard to do. It is so incredibly hard to make them smarter. It is.
probably doable, but not like with the budget of this AAA studio.
Yeah, yeah. Like if they had like Google's budget or something, of course they could do that. But
Yeah,
you know, in a world with finite money and finite time, that's what they set on. So
yeah,
the fact that he was ahead of his opponents when they were basically cheating is really impressive.
yeah. It is amazing. I think before I discovered the other three steps, there are there are six total. Before I discovered the rest of the three steps on the other continents, I have like 17 cities across the entire continent, and I had such crazy adjacency bonuses. It's insane. Like the districts, like I stacked them intentionally, so like one city's district would be next to another city's district and stuff like that. And there's a mountain where I put a campus next to four mountain tiles, and then next to it is like a holy site, and it stacks up so much and got me so ahead of this game. It's crazy. I also have like three natural wonders in my land. It's insane.
By the way, guys, if you're interested or thinking about playing this game, but like the artificial difficulty didn't sound very good to you, don't worry. There are organized competitive games against real players where you can play against smart players that aren't cheating.
Yeah,
So
if you have 5 hours of your time to spare, feel free to play.
it's a great game. It really is. I love it. I love it. And the competitive league is actually decently organized too. You know, like if they're like players that like cheat or no show or leave, then they get flagged and they don't get to play anymore.
Yep. So before we close out, I want to say, as Jacob has said, this game is a time machine. This game is a
I
time
didn't say
machine.
that, but wait, no, I did say that. I said that last time, didn't I?
Yeah. And I'm so
But
old
what do
right
we
now.
mean when we say time machine? What do we mean?
You do you time travel when you play this game? You
Yeah, you know,
travel through time when you play this game.
Einstein's theory of general relativity held that we need to approach the speed of light. You know, and like the whole thought experiment was like, well, I'm gonna fly up in a rocket at the speed of light, straight up, and then come straight back down to Earth. You know, no need to do that. Rockets are expensive. Just play Civ 6.
Yeah, just do that, and your time will fly by so fast. That's insane. I even got Einstein as a great scientist, and he didn't slow down the time at all. Yeah, last game when I was playing, when I stopped playing and I looked at the clock, I'm like, oh, 7 a.m. time to work.
It's horrible because you get in that mindset of like, oh, just one more turn.
Yep. It's
Oh,
never
just
just
one
one
more
more
turn.
turn, man.
No,
It's never just
it's
one more
never
turn.
just one more turn.